Hey everybody, this is Rhonda with Cory and Rhonda, and as you can see, Cory's not with me again today. He's out at an appointment, and I wanted to talk to you today about multiple offer situations since that is super popular in our market right now. So if you're looking for a house, or maybe you know somebody who has, they've probably been in a multiple offer situation. So stick around, we're gonna give you some tips and tricks to get your offer accepted.
Let's get to work. Let's get to work.
Today we're going to talk about multiple offers, and we're probably going to talk about this other days too, but this is our first video on this, and I really wanted to talk about this because this is really what we're seeing in our current market. And so this is September 2020. And not only are we seeing it now, we've seen it over the past really couple years. So on every single one of our listings, we've been receiving multiple offers, and for the vast majority of our buyers, we're competing against other people. So first of all, and this really frustrates buyers because they feel like, hey, I went out and I saw this house and I want it, and then they don't get it because 10 other people want it too. So why is that? So if you've been watching Cory's market updates, he always talks about supply and demand, and that's really what it boils down to. We've got more families coming into Utah than are leaving Utah. So typically in our market, it depends on the price point, but usually in, let's say, the $350,000 to $400,000 price point, it's not uncommon to see 4 or 5 offers. If it's price point under $350,000, sometimes it's 10 offers. We had a listing up in Brigham City, we had 12 offers on. So what can you do when you are a VA buyer to get your offer accepted? So first thing is, if your limit is, let's say for example, let's just throw numbers out. Let's say that your purchase limit is $350,000. Don't go look at houses that are listed at $350,000 because the chances of that house going for $350,000 are probably pretty slim. It's most likely going to go for above asking. So make sure that you stay in your price point. And then also, if you are going to ask the seller to pay closing costs, that's really difficult in our market because somebody else may not. So obviously they would take that offer over yours. So speak with your lender ahead of time, see exactly how much closing costs you need. And if you absolutely don't have it, you might want to think of adding those closing costs on top of your offer price. So for example, using that $350,000 again, let's say that you needed $5,000 in closing costs, you might come in at $360,000 and ask for $5,000. That would net the seller $355,000. So why would you offer more than the seller is asking? So again, it all comes down to multiple offers. And on most of our listings, we've seen the house prices go above asking price. And again, that frustrates buyers because they say, hey, I just made a full price offer. I gave the seller what they want. And really in this market, when you've got 10 or 11 people competing for your house, list price is really not what they want. It's where they're starting. So keep that in mind. List price is not necessarily the ceiling the seller's hoping to get in this market. A lot of times it's where the bidding starts. So that's, like I said, a common misconception that list price is where you want to come in at least not in this market. The other thing to keep in mind with multiple offer situations is sometimes the more flexible you can be with your dates will help the seller out. So we just had this situation actually with a seller of ours who was military. They didn't accept the highest offer on their house. Instead, they accepted an offer that was about $8,000 less, but those buyers let them stay in the house for an extra month at no additional cost to them, just until they could get their TMO scheduled. So for the seller, that was really the deciding factor. They had 12 offers to choose from, and again, they did not go with the highest. So what we do with our buyers is we contact the seller's agent and we find out as much information as we possibly can about the seller's situation, and we just try to match that with yours so that we don't just go in spending a bunch of extra money that maybe we don't have to do. Maybe we can be a little bit flexible with our dates. So not only possession date, but also we try to get a quick inspection deadline and just kind of move things up for the seller. So when you're in a multiple offer situation, even though we may be representing you, the buyer, we have to think like sellers. And we try to explain that to our buyers, is that we are 100% on your side, but we know what the sellers are looking for. So again, we try to match that, match dates and match what you can do with what makes the most sense for the seller and what gets you the best deal. Okay, another very important thing to know in a multiple offer situation, especially when you're on the buyer side, is you want to be completely done with your pre-approval process. So sometimes we'll have a buyer and they'll just know, hey, my credit's good, I've got the money to pay for this, I'm good, I don't need to worry about it. But I can tell you that from a listing agent standpoint, when we get an offer in and somebody does not have a pre-approval letter, that offer goes in another pile than somebody else who might already have that pre-approval offer or pre-approval letter from their lender. So that's super important. And then also not just having a letter, because honestly, I could go online right now to 5 different places and have letters spit out to me just from filling out a form. And as listing agents, we know what those institutions are. And a lot of times what happens is somebody hasn't actually looked at their documentation and we find out 2 weeks down the line they weren't actually approved or they had something on their credit come up. So really, we strongly encourage our buyers, shop around with, and we usually give them several names of lenders that we use here locally that we know do a good job, and they're here when you've got questions. And really that does make a difference on the listing side when we see somebody submit an offer with a local lender versus an online 1-800 we just spit out a letter lender. So keep that in mind. That's just super important. So there's a couple of misconceptions and a couple of tips and tricks to get your offer accepted in a multiple offer situation. And I'll be honest with you, I could talk about this for probably another hour because this is really what we've been dealing with in our market. And we do whatever we can for our buyers to have their offers stand apart from every other offer out there. And when we're on the listing side, we sit down and we educate our sellers so that they know how to pick the best offer of the offers received. So if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere near Hill Air Force Base, we would absolutely love to help you. We help people all the time move in and move out, and this is what we do. So we'd love to help you. Our contact information is at the end of this video. And then also make sure to like and subscribe to our videos. We put new videos out every single Friday. And I have a sneaking suspicion my next one is also going to be on multiple offers. So stick around for that.